Welcome to Charter Local Edition. I'm Tracy Young. Our guest is trends analysis and numerologist Gail Minogue. She joins us to talk about the transitions that are taking place around the world as we exited the 20th century and enter the 21st. Nice to have you with us, Gail.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Speak for a moment as we end basically the number one, the 1000 to the 1999,
Sure.
and we turned it over to the year 2000. What's the change that's taking place?
It's a big change.
Picture.
It's a big change. When we had the 1000 to 1999, we were dealing with the number one from 1000 to 19. And that number is what we call a very independent, it's a very masculine number. So it has a lot of what I call innovative, what we'll say courageous, bold, and daring to that number. Very masculine in its energy. When we crossed over into the two, or the year 2000, we have 1,000 years now of learning to work with the number two, or 2000 to 2999. So we are learning to be what I'll call cooperative. This is a feminine number. So you're seeing the rise in the feminine power worldwide. It's gradually, it's not like a march, it's a gradual process. And so the people are going to have to cooperate more. They're going to have to be more of what we call interdependence, more diplomacy, more tact, more receptivity, and again, a different type of power.
So speak to me about our lifestyles too. A lot of people feel that what's taking place right now is people are contracting their lives and living simpler lives because of the recession. Is it the recession, or is it the fact of what you had just said, that we're entering a new 1,000-year phase and we'll look at life from a different perspective?
Well, the recession is simply what we call a blip. It's a 16-year period that began in 2008, and it's 16 years long.
Which makes sense, because the recession officially started in December of 2007.
Yes. But it really went into effect if you start to realize we are in something really deep. It was in 2008. And it's a 16-year period of straightening out and a big contractual period.
Will we be in a recession for 16 years? Or it's just that we won't have a big recovery?
We will not have a big recovery. It is not a flash in the pan, well, this is worked out in 2 years, or we get our finances in order. It's going across the board, social contracts, financials, economic, political, all of it.
What about the way we live our lives? Are we likely, I heard two very different opinions, which is we're contracting right now where the economy is bad, but as soon as the economy recovers, we're going to want to go back to living an opulent lifestyle. Others tell me no, they feel the shift is taking place and we want to live simpler lives.
Well, we will want to live simpler lives. This is a long-term trend. And again, when we think about it, let's go out to 2024 when this period ends. So by then, people will have gone through a process of what I call more traditional, more conservative, taking a look at their personal needs, what they really need. So it is a long-term trend, and it does affect the social contract for a long time. If you go back to America's beginning, it was a pretty conservative group. You know, it was, again, independent and individualistic and freedom-loving, but it was pretty much traditional, and that's where we're going back to, is some of the social contract we had at the beginning of the birth of the country.
So we always look back at the economy and say, you know, our GDP and what makes our economy basically run is that we're spenders. We like to buy things. 70% of our economy is based on us going out, whether we're going to the dry cleaners, we're going to the theater, we're buying a car. If we're going to contract a bit and live simpler lifestyles, how's our economy going to recover?
It's going to be a while. It's not going to recover the way we think. It's not that it won't recover, it's a gradually sensible recovery, a more authentic recovery, rather than a flash to help create a different type of financial structure than we're used to. The old financial structure is over. It was a 27-year period that ended last year, and it's over. So we have to create a new one. So we're in a recession, we're getting excess out of the system so we can build this new structure.
And so individuals are going to have to be rethinking rather than going backwards.
They just don't go back to what the same kind of job they had.
All right, well, this should be a very interesting time period. Thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you.
For Charter Local Edition, I'm Tracy Young. Now back to CNN, HLN.
On April 1st, 2010, our nation will be counted, and what we learn will transform what we know about ourselves. Census data will be used to allocate over $300 billion in federal funds every year. Communities use the data to plan for their future, like emergency services, healthcare services, schools, transportation, and more. The 2010 census, it's a new portrait of America.